Hello students, once again welcome to my channel Learn English and Win the World. Students, in the last class I had taught you about what a sentence is and the parts of a sentence, subject and predicate, which sentence can be called a complete sentence or a meaningful sentence. स्टूडेंट्स, जैसे हमारी मातृभाषा एक प्रवाह है, इसमें हम हर वाक्यों को इक्वली नहीं बोलते हैं. अलग अलग वाक्यों को बोलने के लिए, अलग अलग इमोशंस को एक्सप्रेस करने के लिए हमारे पास अलग अलग तरीके के वाक्य हैं. सिमिलरली इन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज ऑल्सो वी हैव द different sentences to express different feelings. It's a vast ocean of knowledge and there are different sentences by which we can express our different feelings. All the sentences in a language cannot be told in the same way. There are certain sentences which only are spoken to assert some fact. There are certain sentences which are spoken to ask some questions. There are certain sentences which need to be spoken to express a sudden feeling of happiness, sorrow, etc. There are certain sentences which are used to give advice, command. So, students, today the lesson is the types of sentences in English language. Basically, there are 4 types of sentences in English language. The first type of sentence is called the assertive sentence. Assertive sentences are also called the declaration or declarative sentences, or they are also called statements. They are called statements because they simply state a fact. For example, Delhi is the capital of India. It is an assertive sentence because it asserts the fact that Delhi is the capital of India. Again, assertive sentences can be of 2 types: assertive, affirmative, assertive, negative. Assertive, affirmative sentences are those sentences that affirm something. For example, Ram is happy. It is an assertive sentence plus an affirmation that Ram is happy. But when we talk about assertive negative sentences, we mean that there is a point of negation in those sentences. The same sentence can be made into an assertive negative sentence by telling Ram is not happy. All the assertive sentences end up with a full stop. They are simple statements which state a fact. They can be negative sentences. They can be positive sentences. Then we come to the interrogative sentences, which are the second type of sentences. We need, in our day-to-day life, we need to ask questions also to the people. These questions may be again of 2 types, and similarly, interrogative sentences are of 2 types. Firstly, the simple question sentences, and secondly, the WH question sentences. In the simple question sentences, generally we get an answer in yes and no. They usually begin with is, am, are, do, does, did, will, can, etc. For example, when I say, is Ram happy? The answer can be either way. Yes, Ram is happy. No, Ram is not happy. So the answer is always in yes and no in case of simple questions. If I say, do I know English? The answer may be yes, I know English. No, I do not know English. Secondly, we have the WH questions. The WH questions usually begin with when, which, how, whose, whom, etc. These are a different set of questions which give out a completely new answer. The answer is not in yes and no, but a totally different answer. For example, when I say, who is the Prime Minister of India? The simple answer to this will be Mr. Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister of India. If I say, when did you come to my house? The answer will not be in yes and no. It will be a different answer. That is, I came to your house at 4 p.m. So, we now got the 2 types of question sentences, that are the simple questions and the WH questions. These question sentences end up with a interrogation mark, that is a question mark. Now, Thirdly, sometimes in our lives we cannot always speak simple sentences. We need to advise someone. We need to request someone for something, and we need to sometimes give commands to our juniors, etc. So accordingly, in English language, we have for these types of emotions, commands, requests, and advice, we have the imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are of three types. Those sentences based on command, those based on request, those based on advice. The command sentences may be come in, go out, stand up, sit down. But here sometimes the students may have a question in their mind that when I say stand up or sit down, ma'am, there is no subject in this sentence. But let me tell you students, there is a subject in you sit down also, because I can only ask someone in front of me to sit down or stand up. So he is no one else but you. The subject is hidden in the imperative sentences, in the imperative command sentences, like you sit down, but it is implied that it is no one else but you sit down. We simply say it, sit down, stand up. There is always a subject in this sentence also. It is implied or hidden, that is you. I think it is quite clear to the students now about the subject and predicate concept even in the imperative sentences. Then we have the request sentences. Always we cannot be arrogant and speak anything to anyone. We have to also make some requests, place some requests also. So if we want something, and if we place it in a request form, our demand for that thing is easily fulfilled, and the person to whom we speak also becomes happy. There is a sentence, give me a glass of water. It can be a command sentence. It can be a request sentence when please is added to it. Please give me a glass of water. Okay. Then we have the advice sentences. Take your medicines in time. Do not run on the road. Always walk to the left of the road. These are certain advice sentences given by the elders to the youngers as a matter of advice. These sentences also end up with a full stop. The imperative sentences also end up with a full stop. We then have the exclamatory sentences. In our lives, there are times when we are quite overwhelmed, either with surprise or with happiness. So these things, when expressed with the help of assertive sentences, they do not make that much of impact on the listener or the person to whom we speak. For example, when I say, we know that Taj Mahal is a beautiful monument, but when I speak it out in an assertive form, I simply say the Taj Mahal is beautiful. But if I say, which is even the seventh wonder of the world, if it is said in such a simple way that Taj Mahal is beautiful, it undermines the beauty of Taj Mahal. Instead, it should be exclaimed with joy and surprise that, wow, how beautiful the Taj Mahal is. This is the exclamation, this is the exclamatory sentence. Suppose, for example, in case of sorrow, let me explain this sentence. If a person dies and we simply say he is no more or he is dead, that doesn't show our feeling of great sorrow towards him. But instead, if we say, alas, the person is no more, alas, he is dead, this shows a great sadness or a great feeling of sadness from our part towards that man. So these are the exclamatory sentences which give out a sudden impulse of happiness, surprise, joy. For example, you can even have an example of the exclamatory sentences that deal with joy. The Indian team wins the match and comes back to India. But if it is said in a simple way, India won the World Cup, it makes a little sense, or it just undermines the capability or the glory of our Indian team. Instead, if we say, Hurrah, Indian team has won the World Cup or Indian team has won the Champions Trophy, this greatly glorifies our team. So at times in our lives, exclamations are necessary, and for this we have the exclamatory sentences. These exclamatory sentences end up with a mark of exclamation. There are some other sentences also, which we may call the wishing sentences. Sometimes we wish good for others also. We say that may God bless you with a healthy life. May your married life be happy, or may you live long. What are these sentences? These are wishing sentences. Now the question arises, in which category do we keep such type of sentences? Such wishing sentences are kept in the category of optative sentences. So the fifth kind of sentence is optative sentence. So dear students, today we came to learn about the 5 types of sentences in English language: the assertive sentence, the interrogative sentence, the imperative sentence, the exclamatory sentences, and the optative sentences. Hope you had a good understanding of the types of sentences, and if students you have any queries regarding any type of sentences or anything, you can please ask me in the comment section, and do please subscribe and share my channel, and more we will deal with in the coming up sessions and the next video of mine. Till then, bye bye. Thank you.